You the only person I ever met belonged in the sky.
Commanding officer called you one of the best pilots he's ever seen. It must be hard being the
A naval aviator? Absolutely.
The whole world's looking different. Did you ever think that you'd be in a squadron?
Devotion is a 2022 aerial war epic that draws its emotional power from a true story of courage, loyalty, and sacrifice during one of the most intense chapters of modern military history. Adapted from the best-selling book by Adam Makos, the film centers on two elite United States Navy fighter pilots whose bond transcends duty and rank. Set against the unforgiving skies of the Korean War, the story presents combat not as spectacle alone, but as a crucible that tests character, conviction, and devotion in its purest form. The film positions itself as both a tribute to unsung heroes and a meditation on brotherhood, forged under fire, emphasizing human cost as much as military valor. At the heart of the narrative is the partnership between two naval aviators who could not be more different in background, yet are bound by mutual respect and shared purpose. One is a highly skilled and disciplined pilot navigating the rigid expectations of the military while carrying the weight of being underestimated and isolated. The other is confident, charismatic, and instinctively gifted in the cockpit, quickly earning admiration from peers. Their relationship evolves from cautious professionalism into unshakable trust, built through relentless training, shared risk, and moments of quiet understanding that occur only when lives depend on one another at high altitude. The Korean War setting is not treated merely as historical backdrop, but as an active force shaping every decision the characters make. The conflict is depicted as brutal, unpredictable, and technologically demanding, with naval aviation playing a critical role in shifting battle dynamics. Fighter missions are portrayed as nerve-wracking experiences where skill, instinct, and luck collide within seconds. The film emphasizes the reality that pilots often flew into hostile territory with limited information, facing extreme weather, mechanical uncertainty, and relentless enemy fire. Each mission underscores how thin the line is between survival and loss. The story unfolds with careful attention to the daily life of Navy pilots, from pre-flight briefings and carrier deck operations to the tense silence before takeoff. Training sequences highlight the precision required to land and launch aircraft from carriers, reinforcing how mastery is earned through discipline and repetition rather than bravado. These moments ground the film, reminding the audience that heroism is not born suddenly in battle, but shaped long before combat begins. The pilot's professionalism and dedication become as compelling as the action itself. As the narrative progresses, the personal stakes intensify. The pilots are not portrayed as invincible warriors, but as men with families, fears, and doubts that surface in fleeting moments of vulnerability. Letters home, quiet conversations, and reflective pauses between missions humanize them, adding emotional depth to the unfolding events. These scenes serve to contrast the violence of war with the simple desire for connection and normalcy, reinforcing what is truly at risk every time the pilots take to the skies. The film's depiction of aerial combat is immersive and grounded, prioritizing realism over exaggeration. Dogfights are chaotic and disorienting, captured in a way that conveys speed, danger, and limited visibility. The camera work places the audience inside the cockpit, allowing viewers to experience the claustrophobia and intensity faced by the pilots. Sound design plays a critical role, from the roar of engines to the sudden silence after damage, amplifying the tension and emotional weight of each engagement. One of the defining strengths of Devotion is its focus on loyalty and moral courage. Beyond the physical dangers of combat, the film explores the emotional strength required to stand by a fellow pilot when circumstances turn dire. Decisions made in moments of crisis carry lifelong consequences, and the story does not shy away from examining the aftermath of those choices. The concept of devotion extends beyond military duty, encompassing friendship, integrity, and the willingness to risk everything for another person. The screenplay by Jake Crane and Jonathan A. Stewart balances historical gravity with cinematic storytelling. Dialogue is restrained and purposeful, avoiding excessive exposition while allowing relationships to develop naturally. The writing places emphasis on shared experiences rather than speeches, trusting the audience to understand the depth of the bond between the characters through action and reaction. This approach lends authenticity to the story and keeps the emotional focus firmly on the pilots rather than the broader politics of the war. Direction by J.D. Dillard brings a steady and respectful tone to the film. The narrative avoids glorifying war, while still honoring the bravery of those who served. Visual storytelling is used to contrast moments of calm with sudden chaos, mirroring the unpredictable rhythm of combat aviation. The pacing allows time for character development without diminishing the urgency of the missions, resulting in a film that feels both intimate and expansive. The cast delivers performances that emphasize restraint and sincerity. The lead actors portray their characters with a mix of confidence and vulnerability, capturing the internal conflict of pilots who must project control while facing constant danger. Supporting performances reinforce the sense of camaraderie within the squadron, illustrating how shared risk creates bonds that extend beyond individual friendships. Together, the ensemble contributes to a believable portrayal of military life during wartime. The plot builds toward a series of high-risk missions that test the limits of skill and endurance. As conditions worsen and enemy resistance intensifies, the pilots are pushed into situations where training alone is not enough. Courage becomes inseparable from sacrifice, and the meaning of devotion is redefined through action rather than words. The film handles these moments with emotional restraint, allowing the impact to resonate without overt dramatization. Release timing positioned the film as a reflective war drama rather than a spectacle-driven blockbuster. Its arrival invited audiences to reconsider lesser-known stories from history, focusing on individuals whose contributions were overshadowed by larger narratives. The film's release emphasized remembrance and recognition, aligning with its central theme of honoring those who served with quiet heroism. Promotional material and trailer footage highlighted the intensity of aerial combat while foregrounding the emotional bond between the pilots. Rather than relying solely on action, the preview emphasized character, sacrifice, and authenticity, setting expectations for a grounded and respectful portrayal of war. The tone conveyed a story rooted in real events, driven by human connection rather than fictionalized heroics. Devotion ultimately stands as a tribute to perseverance under extreme circumstances. It tells a story of men who faced not only enemy forces, but also personal and institutional challenges, yet remained committed to their principles and to each other. The film underscores that true heroism often lies in loyalty, empathy, and the willingness to stand firm when the cost is highest. By focusing on individual experience within a vast conflict, the story achieves emotional resonance that extends beyond its historical setting. The legacy of the pilots portrayed is not measured solely by military success, but by the example they set through their actions. Their story serves as a reminder that devotion, in its truest form, is defined by selflessness and unwavering commitment, even when the outcome is uncertain. In the end, devotion leaves a lasting impression by blending history, character, and cinematic realism into a cohesive narrative. It honors the memory of those who served without seeking spectacle for its own sake, instead offering a thoughtful exploration of courage and brotherhood. The film invites viewers to reflect on the human dimension of war and the enduring power of loyalty forged in the most unforgiving conditions imaginable.